Good morning, boys and girls. Well, we're working on a Masterlock today. This is a classic. This is a Masterlock number 5. This is, I don't know why I'm doing a Masterlock number 5. I've got a video on there of a Masterlock number 5 being picked. Not this one, a different one. But I got this in the mail in a trade. So I thought, what the heck, I'll give it a shot. Actually, the reason I'm doing this, I think, is because this really is a classic. I mean, this is a lock which beginning lock pickers learn on. This is the lock. This and Masterlock number 3 are probably the two. They're not easy locks. They're not simple, but they're not as easy as some of the Chinese knockoffs. But you know, there's just enough of a challenge to give a beginning lock picker a real sense of accomplishment when it opens. So we're going to use bottom of the keyway. I've got a homebrew. Note the style here of the tension wrench. The tension wrench is homemade. I noticed that a lot of times these keyways, if you make the tension wrench just this way, it gives you a lot more room in the keyway. Just a tip. We're going to use a Peterson. Here's the Peterson short hook. One of my go-to hooks. Love that Peterson. This is the key. You can see it's not treacherous bitting, but there's some irregularity. It's just a little 4-pin. Let's see if I can peg it. Insert tension wrench. You have to really watch with these that the tension wrench doesn't jam into the housing of the core, or you'll never get it open. Okay, we go with pin 2 first, pin 3, I think that was pin 3, and now pin 4. Well, that didn't work. Now that tension wrench is right where it needs to be. Pin 1 I ignore this time. Go right to pin 2. Got it. To pin 3. Got it. And then to pin 4. See, the hard part of this particular lock is that pin 4, got it, is a deeper cut. And because it's a deeper cut, you have to go over pin 1, 2, and 3 without oversetting and still be able to get enough oomph to open pin 4. That's the way you open this particular Masterlock number 5. They're all different. So anyhow, guys, keep it safe, have fun, and keep it legal. Okay, so here's an outline of the tips for this Masterlock number 5 that we just opened. There were 3 tips in there. I'd like to go over them quick. First one is the homemade tension wrench. Whenever you can, use a tension wrench that gives you enough room to work in the keyway. All you need for a tension wrench is a thing that will hold the tension to the core of the lock. So you'll note that I cut away a good piece of what would normally be there in the tension wrench. That's tip 1. Tip 2 is when you put the tension wrench in, make sure that the tension wrench is not jamming the wall of the core. You can actually open the lock, pick the lock, but it won't open because the tension wrench, the pressure of the tension is actually going into the wall of the core and not in trying to turn the cylinder. More than once I've had a lock and I'm sitting there saying, I know this thing is open, I know it's picked, but it won't open because the tension wrench is turning into the wall of the cylinder. It's not turning into turning the core. Okay, that was that tip. Last tip. When you're lucky enough to have the key, and you can see the key bitting, right? And you get a grasp, or at least a hint of an idea of a clue, what the binding order is. In this particular case, it was 2, 3, and 4. 4 was the last one, which means you have to take your pick and go over the tops of pin 2 and pin 3 to set pin 4. If you use too much pressure to set pin 4, you're going to smack yourself into pin 2 and 3 and overset one of them, and the lock won't open. Anyhow, those are the tips for beginning lock pickers on opening a Masterlock number 5.